Hey guys, this is going to be a fantastic match between Djokovic and Prizmic. I remember when they played in 2024 Australian Open, Djokovic said that Dino was the carbon copy of himself. And certainly there are a lot of similarities. Lucy, don't eat the plant, please. A lot of similarities between these two guys, but you know, I've been tracking Prizmic since then. And when he's playing aggressively, reminds me a little bit more of Alcaraz, actually, in the stroke production and also in this stylistically speaking. So certainly he has similarities to some of the greats, a great talent, and his rise has been steady. He's been grinding out there on the Challenger Tour. What's most impressive to me is qualifying for a tremendous amount of tournaments, qualifying for Grand Slams, qualifying for Master Series tournaments. And you know, that's a great way to build up confidence and to, build your ranking back up. So certainly this is going to be an interesting match because we don't know how Djokovic is going to play. We don't know which Djokovic is going to show up, because the last match Novak has played was Draper. And that was one of the best matches of 2026 for sure. And we know what happened prior to that one. A lot of people are downplaying Novak's, Australian Open final. They're saying, oh, he had a walkover in the round of 16. He would have lost to Musetti. He pulled out. But, I've said this in a video before. You put any other player in that circumstance, you give him 2 walkovers, any other player, and are they going to beat Sinner with the exception of Djokovic and Alcaraz in the semi? I don't think so. So you can't take that win away from Novak no matter how hard you try. Yes, certainly. I'm not saying that he wasn't helped. Lucy, stop it. Stop it. Stop playing there. You can't say that he wasn't helped by the walkover and, by Musetti, who was up 2-0. Certainly, he could have lost that match. He could have also won it. You never know. But still, to be able to beat Sinner in a semifinal, and Sinner had been on a rampage indoors, a lot of confidence. He played incredible in that match, and that certainly was an incredible victory that has to go in the history books. And there is no asterisk behind it whatsoever. So we simply don't know the level that Novak is going to show. And I say this because of the last 2 clay court seasons, where there were some weird results. In Rome here, he lost to Tabilo, he lost to Monte Carlo, to Tabilo again, he lost to Arnaldi. In Madrid last year, didn't really affect his Roland Garros performance, but let's see what happens. Djokovic serving first. This is the first serve, second serve. You can walk. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lucy. Novak sprays a backhand. Goes down the line early in the rally. Interesting. Dino just steady from the back. What happened with Demonar? He's in a slump. Big time. And I'll discuss Arnaldi Demonar later in a video today, in a wrap-up video of today's matches. Another first serve miss from Djokovic, second serve. Lost in 24 was because of the water bottle. Yes, I remember that. But, he lost to Tabilo in Monte Carlo a year later. So how do you explain that one? Djokovic in a good position on the baseline, dictating play, moving Dino left and right. Prizmic misses a backhand 15-all. Aggressive tennis from Novak. Big serve down the tee. Great transitional forehand and just an easy put-away volley, 30-15. Nick, what do you do if you're Dino going up against the GOAT or any better player? How do you mentally prepare? It's tough. It depends on obviously who it is, but it's so hard to say. I mean, obviously you have to go into the match, number one, to win, because that's, as weird as that sounds, that's not always a given. You know, you give too much respect to one of these great champions, you lose prior to stepping on the court. So you got to go in there to win. Big shift I've seen from Fonseca this year, for example, how he played against Sinner, how he played against Alcaraz. A different mindset to me. I mean, he still lost in straight sets, but I thought he, especially against Sinner and Indian Wells, he played well. So that's the mental approach. Tactical approach is tough to say. It depends. (40-15). Novak starting strong, very solid. I don't see any rust whatsoever. And a down the line dropper from Novak. Dino overcooks a forehand hold. One love. Djokovic loves to hit the backhand down the line drop shot. That's his favorite, and he hits it really well. I mean, he of course knows how to hit the other ones too, but I think that's by far the most frequent drop shot that he hits is backhand down the line dropper. Rust for a 30-year-old's experience doesn't exist. A true tennis vibe, you know, that might be true what you're saying, for sure. You know, when you have this much experience, it's a different thing. However, I still think you know, it's impossible for anyone, including Novak, to not prepare for like a Grand Slam and just go straight into it and expect to have good results. I mean, I think you probably could still pull it off somehow, but I feel that you need to play. And when you don't play for a while, certainly there's a question mark of your level, you know, because match play at tournaments is the ultimate test for everyone, including Novak. And Dino not starting well. You know, one thing about Prizmic, which is, you know, so different from Alcaraz, for example, and I compared him like stylistically a little bit. He sometimes gets into these battles where he's grinding and he's, you know, very consistent, but he's behind the baseline, and that's going to be an impossible way to beat any of the greats if you want to discuss tactics. So that first rally of a service game, you know, again, Novak is on the baseline. Dino is way behind the baseline. It's going to be tough to take out Novak that way. He's going to have to play aggressive and high percentage aggressive tennis. Just like that. That was an excellent rally. Rishi Rahul, I'm not sure I completely agree with your assessment of Novak's Sinner match at the AO this year. His biggest issue in slams in 24 is that he starts getting gassed. That's true. You know, by the time he reaches the semis, his ace, Prizmic, 30-15. That he reaches the semis, he's gassed, and he certainly was gassed in that match. I'm not saying that it wasn't a factor at all. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that there wasn't a factor that he got the walkover. It certainly helped him. But you can't take that win away from him because you give anybody else, you put everybody else in that opportunity, in that circumstance, other than Alcaraz, they're going to lose the center. So, you know, certainly in 2025, that's been Novak's big problem, stamina. $40-15. I hope you understand what I mean. Like, because it's not the regular tennis fans, it's the trolls, you know. And I'm not a Djokovic fan or anything like that. I'm a big time Rafa fan, but you just can't take that win away from him and say, oh, you know, he got a walkover, he got a bye, and that's why he beat Sinner. It's not so easy, even with those walkovers and the bye, to beat Sinner in a semifinal. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because just take a look at how Sinner is playing now. You want to take him out in a semi of a slam, it's close to impossible. Double fault Dino, 40-30. That's a big hold from Prizmic right there. Very, very important. 1-all. Novak should have played Madrid. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he knows best, right? Novak knows best. And he certainly wants to pace himself properly and not play that big of a schedule. So the risky thing about not playing is that even Novak Djokovic, like let's say he loses this match, he might sign up next week for Geneva. That's what he did last year. So, and that certainly helped him, I think, that Geneva win. So the exceptions to what I'm saying are obviously Australian Open and Wimbledon. I think those you can go into without playing much before, because everybody's kind of in the same boat. But clay and hard court, and especially clay, because that's really the clay court season. It's like hard courts are, you know, throughout the year. The clay court season, if you don't play at all, you go into Roland Garros, or if you just play 1 or 2 matches, I think that's going to be difficult. Even for Novak, even though, you know, he probably somehow still would pull off a semi, you know, because he's so tough to beat in best out of 5. But, you know, as I've said in many videos, this is eventually going to come to an end, right? Like, so he's not going to be able to do this forever, to play, you know, a couple of tournaments, show up at a slam and reach a semi. Just the question is when. When will the decline start? I have not seen it yet. Will it be next year? Will it be 2 years from now? When will the age really start showing? Obviously, it's showing, you know, in some of those semifinal matches last year against Sinner and against Alcaraz, where he's gassed and all that. I think that's one sign, but I'm talking about to the point where he has a hard time against the other guys, because he really hasn't had that hard of a time against the other guys in slams. $40 love. Loose ball error from Dino. Didn't miss by much. Maybe a centimeter. Novak still seems competitive, yeah. He wants it really badly. If that Australian Open and that match against Draper didn't prove that, I don't know what will. And love hold from Djokovic 2-1. That match against Draper, if that didn't prove Novak's will to win and his fight, it's absolutely insane. That match, he went to the limit there. And it's too bad Draper is injured, because, you know, it'd be nice to have him this clay court season. Let me see here. Oh, that's so funny. Demon has the Wilson curse. Yeah, he switched from Asics, right? Asics to Wilson close, and that's when the slump started. Yeah. Nice collection of hoodies along with your rackets. You do walk through to your Nike collection. Yeah, like I've said in many videos, I'm a Nike fan. I do like other brands too for tennis, but like, yeah, these sweatpants are Nike. This is not a hoodie; it's just a warm up. This is like the one that Alcaraz was wearing. I think maybe Australian Open. I just like Nike. I like Nike tennis. I've always bought Nike clothes and Nike shoes, but I like I have some On shoes and some different brands. You think I should do like a collection of shoes? I do have a lot of shoes. Maybe I'll do. I did a racket collection. Maybe I'll do a shoe collection down the road. Even though be honest with you guys, I've slowed down shoe buying a lot. And I've been buying retro shoes recently because I don't like any of the new Nike shoes at all. But I have a lot of them. I don't really need to buy any. I have a lot. So I've been like getting into retro Nike shoes, tennis shoes that is. So maybe I'll do a collection video. Greetings from Mexico. How you doing? Nice to see you in here. That's why Dino reminds me of Alcaraz. When he starts like, hitting those monster serves and starts blasting forehands. Exceptional rally, 15 love. That's a good question. I'm a native Hungarian, so genuinely curious. Does the Croatian-Serbian rivalry go beyond normal levels, or is there more to it given a shared history and a fairly recent conflict? That's the nice thing about tennis, is that it's such a unifying game. And these players, of course, I can't speak of for everyone, but let's just take Novak Djokovic and Goran Ivanišević, like, they work together, right? So that should tell you everything. Novak does not care if somebody's Croatian or Serbian. Like, he was at the Niki Pilic Academy. It does not. Tennis is a unifying sport, and that's what's nice about it. And the same goes for Croatian players. Again, not speaking for everyone. I'm just speaking in general terms. And more specifically, in the case of Novak Djokovic, he does not care if his coach is from Croatia or if he's playing a Croatian or whatever. Oh, wow. Big forehand from Prizmic, hits the line, 30-15. So yeah, Novak for sure. It doesn't go beyond normal levels, like you say. No. So I'm not. In other words, like, does one of these guys want to beat the other one more just because they're Serbian and Croatian? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I would love to see Novak play the younger guys. I would love to see Djokovic play Hodar. That'd be so interesting. And they could meet here in the semis. If Hodar, makes it to the quarters, and if he beats Zverev, and he won today, Hodar is playing really well. So it's possible, I guess, Djokovic Hodar semifinal. Double fault Prizmic, 30-all. Whoa. And a Djoko smash from Prizmic. He missed an overhead. came in, hitting the forehand, very aggressive, but Djokovic throws up a very, very tricky lob, backhand topspin lob, and Dino overcooks the overhead, 30-40 break point. This is what you don't want to do against Djokovic, go down and break early. Best rally of the match so far. And Djokovic again does the backhand drop shot, the really good one. But Dino is so incredibly fast and shows exceptional hands by curling a little cross-court forehand shot for a winner. And Djokovic can't get to it. Exceptional rally. And what a way to say break point. Another brutal rally. I can see here Dino is getting into a good rhythm here. Hitting the ball way cleaner now. Djokovic overcooks a forehand down the line. Add in. Very good hold for Dino right there. Big serve down the tee. And it's 2-all. Why do pros not let overheads bounce very often? Pride? David, it's got to do with the type of lob that's coming. You cannot let a topspin lob bounce. And that lob from Djokovic was a topspin lob. If you would have let that bounce, that ball has penetration. And you can't hit it bouncing overhead. You would have to hit it from way behind the baseline. So the only time bouncing overheads are okay if the ball has no penetration, if it's like a flat lob that's going to bounce and not go through the court. It's just going to sit there high. That's when you do a bouncing overhead. And a volley miss from Djokovic off a very good forehand approach shot. Love 15. And there's a forehand dropper from Djokovic. Clean one, 15-all. By the way, Djokovic has won this tournament 6 times, guys. How insane is that? You know, in the era of Nadal, to have 6 of these, it's pretty insane. Big serve from Novak out wide, 30-15. That's the biggest game changer for Novak, and the primary reason why he still is where he is in the top 5, and that's the improvement in his serve. And I've done many videos on this. He's tweaked the serve a little bit last year before the Australian Open. He's continued to work on it, and you know, he gets so many free points, like there, 2 free points in a row, another one at 30-15, serve down the tee. And that has helped him to stay where he is. Especially when, you know, he obviously, it's not just against Sinner and Alcaraz where he gets gassed. I've seen him get gassed against, for example, against Svajda at the US Open. He'll get gassed against anyone, and that's normal at his age. But the serve is what's saving him. Great game from Novak. Very clean holds to 15, 3-2. He's getting gassed already? No, I don't think so. When you see Novak get gassed is when he goes down to his knees. And when you see that, that means he's gassed. You know, I always thought that that was a bad thing because I do that too. You know, some of my players do it, go down to the knees. And you know, you would think that you would get less air into your lungs that way, but I've heard actually that there's a reason why we do this intuitively, so to speak. Like we just go down to our knees. It's actually you get more air into the lungs that way. So it's not that bad of a thing to do actually. And when you see that, that's where Djokovic is in trouble physically. But it doesn't mean that, you know, Djokovic is going to lose the match, because I've seen it so many times. He's a fighter. He will go to the limit to win a tennis match. He can play way past that point of exhaustion, and is able to sometimes even recuperate within a match like that, where people then accuse him of like faking exhaustion and injuries and stuff like that. But no, you can recuperate in the match. You really can. You can go from being completely exhausted to feeling better. And yeah, it's amazing what he's doing. I don't think it's talked about enough. I've never seen another player play at this level, at this age. I mean, it's incredible. Rafa and Roger are long gone, right? And he's still there in the final of a Grand Slam this year, 4 semis last year. So it's incredible. All right, 3-2. Let's see if Djokovic puts pressure on Dino's serve right here. I'm sure he will. Dino will have to continue to play high percentage tennis and continue to play aggressive too. And there's the down the line backhand Djokovic dropper from Prizmic this time for a winner. Djokovic didn't even attempt to run it down. He saw it way too late. 15-love. Yeah, Alex, it's incredible that Djokovic is still there. I agree. He can beat all these guys. I mean, and too much pressure from Novak. 15-all. Very strong down the line forehand. Just the fact that he will play against all these generations of players, like, you know, he's obviously Sinner and Alcaraz, but now all the youngsters too, the Fonsecas, the Hodars, would love to see him play against those guys. against Dino. Like, it's incredible to watch. To watch him play guy 20 years younger, it's crazy. It's 15-30, a big return from Novak. That's why he's regarded as the greatest return in the history of tennis. It's not necessarily flashy returns, but it's just pressure. It's just a lot of depth, often directed centrally. And there he returned, centrally, but not deep enough. Dino hits a forehand winner on the line, 30-all. Very good serve too. We have to say that was a very good serve from Dino. Djokovic in control of the rally, making Dino run left and right, but then overcooks a forehand down the line. Hits it long, 40-30. And that's not the first time he's missed a forehand down the line. I think that's like the third one that I've seen from Novak. So he's not feeling that shot 100%. He's made some, of course, as well. So there's another big return. Like that return, for example, it's incredible. A big wide serve from Dino, and Djokovic just a laser beam, deep, somewhat central, to the forehand side, but fairly close to the middle of the court. And Dino is retrieving, backing up, frames the forehand. And not a spectacular return, not a winner or anything, but it's just such a high quality return. And he can hit a ton of those. And there's the backhand down the line dropper again from Novak. Djokovic is gassed. I don't know if he's gassed. Remember, when you see him down to his knees, he's gassed. And Djokovic puts away the volley. But again, in this game, in this point, it was a return. Prizmic hit a great wide serve, and Djokovic just returned it cross-court so deep, so well, neutralized the ball, and gave himself an opportunity to do that dropper that he's so comfortable with down the line off his backhand. Break point. And another return. You guys see that one? Very similar to the previous one on the ad side. Wide serve, and Djokovic just laser beam, like this close to the baseline. Prizmic is backing up. And break Djokovic 4-2. That's why he's the GOAT, One of the many reasons, but that is why he's regarded as the greatest return in history of tennis. They're right there. He can hit so many of these high quality returns, and it's not easy to hold serve against them. Nick, are you covering Sinner's match tomorrow? Yes. Let me check the schedule, see what else is going on for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, right? Hold on. There's another down the line backhand drop shot from Djokovic. This time, a little bit of help from the net, a net schola. What time is it? At 1 o'clock my time? Yeah, perfect. I definitely can cover that one. I can cover that one, the Sinner match, for sure. against Ofna. I can do that one. I'll try to do one live stream per day. Let's see what else is going on tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do that one. I'll definitely do the Iyala Rybakina one. I plan to do that one as well. But that's not tomorrow, that's the next day. Djokovic misses a transitional low ball forehand, frames it. That's my least favorite shot out of all shots in recent times. Yeah, Danny boy, that Alcaraz racket question, I'll get into it on the next changeover, okay? Very solid point from Djokovic. This time takes care of the half-court forehand, but it was a little bit higher, more comfortable to play. And by the way, Djokovic, one of the best of all time at the low ball, transitional half-court forehand. Hits it so well, that ball. 30-15. Hi, Laura. Nice to see you in here. Kicker from Novak. Prizmic misses a 2 and a backhand return into the net, 40-15. A very strong hold from Novak. This is not what Dino wanted, this level of Djokovic. No sign of rust whatsoever. Playing rock solid tennis. Because, let's face it, like Djokovic sometimes can't come out playing weird tennis in some of these like non-Grand Slam tournaments, even ATP 1000s, where he's just not himself. He's like mentally not there. He's making weird errors, like unforced errors. Even at Indian Wells and some of those early matches, I've seen that. So not here in Rome. This is solid performance so far. Okay, let's get into this. Do you think Alcaraz's injury could be related to the racket setup? According to Tennis Nerd, he uses pure Aero 98 strung with RPM team at 55, 53, 330 grams strung weight, 327 swing weight. Look, it's impossible to say what caused the wrist injury. At first, people are saying that it was like the way he picked up a ball in that match against Virtanen. But then I listened to an Alcaraz interview, and he said that he blew his wrist out on a return of serve. So that's what it's from. I made a Alcaraz forehand analysis video after he had won the US Open, and I did mention in that video, interestingly, that he has a weird finish on his forehand with a lot of flexion. And people, after the wrist injury, had gone back to that video and said, oh yeah, that's why his wrist was injured, No, not necessarily. First of all, that's not what his wrist injury is. It's somewhere else in the wrist. And that's a relatively safe thing to do because it's in the deceleration phase. It's not optimal either. So if you're an amateur player and your wrist starts to hurt and you find yourself doing this on the finish, like this wrist flexion, certainly would be wise to stop doing it. But a lot of other players do that as well. And like I said, because it's in a deceleration phase, it's safe. And it's not his forehand technique. You asked, is it the racket? He's been playing with that setup for so long. If it was a problematic racket, we would have seen other injuries. He did have arm problems. Maybe last year, was it? Is it the racket? Is it the strengths? I really can't tell you it is or it's not. I have no idea. Unlikely, to be honest, at this pro level, at this elite level. Unlikely. But it could be in some circumstances. I really don't know. Hi, Monique. Nice to see you in here. Dino's got to hold here, and he's got to like find his top level. Get the momentum for the second set. Don't let Novak get another break, and don't let him start serving first in the second. Now somebody asked, is Dino top 10 material? Let me get into that in the next changeover, okay? The set break. Dino overcooks a forehand, inside out. I think that's his favorite shot. 15-all. Big T serve from Dino, 30-15. Djokovic is lobbing like crazy today. Another very difficult overhead to handle for Dino. And then just a shoelace ripper passing shot from Novak. But that lob, I mean, it's a defensive lob, not a topspin lob, but still it hit so well, and then just such a low ripper. Dino can't handle the volley. 30-all. David, on those inside outs, when is it better to trade angle for pace? I would say if you're closer to the net, it's going to be easier for you to find the angle, and the more towards the backhand doubles alley you are, the easier it's going to be to find the angle. There's a loose ball error from Prizmic, 30-40, set point. Did you notice Novak has a looser polo shirt today? Oh yeah, you're right. Looks like a different material. How many times have you seen this today? That's like the third time I've seen this, or maybe the fourth time. Big first serve from Prizmic. Djokovic blasts a return central and deep. And this ball is so difficult that he's forced to back up, and it's so quick that he can't back up and set himself. He's falling back as he's hitting the ground stroke, and he ends up framing it. Djokovic is such a insane returner. It's just incredible. And again, central location, which is the key. So a lot to learn from Djokovic on the return games. First set 6-2. But let me take this opportunity because somebody asked, do you think Dino has what it takes to reach top 10? So I don't know that. I mean, it's impossible to make those predictions. The same way it's impossible to predict how good Hodar is going to be or Fonseca. Some people say, "Oh, Fonseca is no good, but Hoda is better." You don't know. You don't know that. Like, they're obviously super talented. We're talking about, you know, they were all some of the best juniors in the world, and they've come up in the rankings. In Hoda's case, it's been so fast, so it's a completely different story, and you can make different arguments there. But for Dino, it's been a slow and steady climb. There has been some injuries. His arm was hurting earlier this year. He had to pull out against Feast and Indian Wells, and he had a leg injury, I think hamstring injury last year. And so, you know, there were some roadblocks along the way, but what impresses me the most, I'm just going to read you this because it's super impressive. And, you know, it's not easy to make it out of a qualifying of a tournament. So in Melbourne, Australian Open, he made it through actually 2 rounds of the qualies. He lost to Arthur Ferry in the last one. He got in as a lucky loser, okay? Then he won 2 matches at Davis Cup. He qualified for Rio, lost in the first round. He qualified for Santiago, which is a 250, and made it to the round of 16. He qualified for Indian Wells, made it to the second round. He got into Bucharest, main draw, lost 7-6 in the third to Altmaier. Then he played a challenger in Monza. He reached the final. And then he qualified for Madrid, and won a couple of matches, beat Berrettini and Shelton. That was a great tournament for Dino. And again, he qualified for Rome and beat Fucsovics in the first round. So it's been a brutal road to where he is now, which is, I think the live ranking is going to be 70 in the world. It hasn't been an easy road, and he's been putting in the work, and nothing but the ultimate respect for this. And it just keep going like this and let the ranking slowly climb. I think top 50 should be the next goal, and we see from there. I don't know about top 10. We don't know. But certainly is it's in the right path. It's an upwards trend, and he seems to be a fighter and a hard worker, and let's just hope he stays injury-free. I'm certainly rooting for him because he's from my hometown, Split, Croatia, so I'm going to wish him nothing but the best. Nothing but the best, and I'm going to be watching him very closely. Second set. And Djokovic starts it off with a 2-handed backhand down the line miss. Second serve Djokovic. This time, a poor down-the-line drop shot from Djokovic. He took somewhat of a wild swing at it. It was definitely not short enough. Dino comes in, Djokovic throws up another lob. Again, not the greatest lob, and Dino puts away the overhead. Love 30. Wow, okay. A window for a momentum shift. Another down-the-line drop shot from Djokovic. And Dino is definitely handling that shot better. I think he's starting to see it sooner. This time he runs it down with ease and hits a forehand down the line winner, and it's love 40. Wow. Who would have thought this was going to happen? Some of these Novak drop shots are criminal. Well, he was hitting it really well in the first set, but he might be overdoing it. Where's the guy that said Novak is gassed? Because he went down a little bit after that rally, but I didn't think there was exhaustion. Maybe Novak is feeling something physically there. Novak doesn't look right in this first game. It was an easy break for Prizmic. Let me try to hear what they're saying. Sometimes he's very vocal, Novak, and his box is also very vocal. And sometimes I will translate to you guys if they're saying something. But Novak is there's something going on physically. I really can't tell you what that is. It doesn't look like exhaustion. It's something else. He looks off for sure. In any case, break Prizmic 1-0 serving. Let's see if he can extend the lead. He pulled up strange at the end of a rally late in the first set. Okay, Pete. I didn't see that. I don't remember that one, but that could be. He says something there. Let me rewind that. Hold on, real quick. Let me see if I can pick that up. Hold on 1 second. Let me turn it up. I can't hear. I don't know what he said. I thought at first he said Namagudisat, meaning I can't breathe, but no, he didn't say that. It was something else. I don't know. There's something going on. $15-all. I think he has stomach issues causing him to burp. They always instruct him to stretch out his stomach somehow. Okay, Tennis Guru, could be. I don't know. Can you show us live? What do you mean? Can I show you the live match? I can't do that. You're gonna have to watch it on the tennis channel or wherever else you are, tennis TV or whatever. You understand Serbian? Yeah, Serbian is the same as Croatian. It's the same language. Complete collapse from Novak. It looked like a wild return. 30-15. Eternal chaos. What's going on? I don't really know. It's really weird. He played so well in the first set, and he's not right physically in the second. Novak is good. He can often get through physical issues. Certainly start feeling better. You know, sometimes you can take some kind of medication, and you know it kicks in, and some time, and then you start feeling better. All this stuff is possible. Or the physical issues go away on their own. Can happen a lot. I mean, I've seen cramps go away, you know. So, yeah, you can recover for sure. You just can't recover from acute injuries, like when you roll your ankle. That you're not going to recover from, but other things you can. Yeah, that was an encouraging rally for sure. And Dino smartly hits a drop shot. He's testing Novak, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe just a regular play from Dino. But in any case, exceptional forehand dropper and a volley into the open court, 40-30. Big serve from Dino. Djokovic blocks the ball back and doesn't even try to run down the forehand of Prizmic. 2-love. Djokovic's box pumping him up. Let's see if I'm all the way up. Double fault Novak, love 15. He looks out of it. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, it's been from the very first game of this second set. Good focus from Dino. It's very dangerous for Dino right here because you just don't know what's going on with Novak. I mean, it's not, you have to stay on top of him, play 100%, high intensity, pump yourself up, make him run. Yeah, whoever is saying tennis guru, you're right. Watch him burp. Yeah, he almost threw up there. There's something going on. He's got some kind of. He was unwell off camera. Okay, Joe 651. Okay. There's a lot of people in Madrid that had similar stuff going on. So I wonder if there's a similar thing going on in Rome. Yeah, Djokovic's toast. Can't play. Love 40. Yeah, and Boko withdrew because of stomach problems. So maybe the players brought it to Rome, whatever's going on in Madrid. I don't really know. I don't ask me. I don't know. Shrimp taco catastrophe. Yeah, it was this shrimp tacos in Madrid, right? All right, big serve from love 40 to 30-40. Like I said, it's very dangerous. This state of Djokovic is very dangerous because, even when he's just standing there, he can still smack winners. He can serve big. So, very difficult situation for Dino to be in. He's got to play hard. All players should learn from that Atman Umber match in Madrid, which is like the most insane match that I've ever seen. Not exaggerating, but it One of the most interesting matches this year, for sure. And there you go. That's how you got to play. Laura Stone, hantavirus. Hope not. Yeah, that was a good point from Dino. That's exactly what you got to do. You got to play hard. Okay, that's interesting. I hope you're doing well, Nick. How do you like Nola's chances on clay? I feel like you should be able to just move him around and tire him out. Yeah, that's going to be very difficult to just move Novak around, because Novak plays incredibly aggressive, and it's so hard. I mean, you certainly want to make the match physical and try to fight and try to extend the match, but over the best of 3, I don't think it's a factor. I think it could be a factor in best of 5. And I think, to be really honest with you, it's not even enough. Like, it's just when you tire him out, it's not necessarily means that you're going to win, as we've seen in many of the recent Grand Slam tournaments. So a lot easier said than done. But this is something completely different. Novak Djokovic has not asked for a medical timeout. I don't think so. You know what? I was actually thinking about a Sinner Djokovic Rome final. That would have been very interesting. I guess he doesn't want to use up MTO unnecessarily if he thinks it will pass. Yeah, I think he might think it will pass. That's big hitting from Dino. That's exactly how he has to play. Play with this intensity and win this set 6-0. You guys remember the Zverev Alcaraz semifinal Australian Open? It was a very, very poor tennis from Zverev not to win that set 6-0 when Alcaraz couldn't move. So, of course, different circumstances. You can't really make the comparison, but all I'm saying is that Dino has to continue to play very hard. That was a humongous return right there. Maybe a tank return. Who knows? He really ripped that harder than normal, Djokovic did. 15-all. Dino is an exceptional athlete. He's so quick. That's why it reminds me of Alcaraz. Like his the way he's built on the court and the way he moves. I just see a little bit of Alcaraz in him. And he ran that drop shot down so fast. And on top of that, he has great skills around the net. It's a beautiful little cross court backhand from close to the net. Exceptional athlete. 30-15. Beautiful point from Dino, 40-15. Djokovic looks better to me now. Just like he looks better. He doesn't seem to be doing all those burps and all that stuff that he was doing before. So, like I said, Dino has to continue to play very, very aggressive, high energy. Dennis Channel said the doctor is coming out next changeover. Okay. Strong hold from Dino for love. Big serve down the tee. Monique, did Dino raise his level or is Novak having a lapse? Dino for sure is playing well, but Novak, from the first game of the second, there was something wrong physically, and he wasn't anywhere near his best level physically, and was even bailing out of some rallies. So he's better, and it seems a little bit better now to me compared to the beginning of the second set. Well, what a return from Dino right there. Huge blast down the middle of the court, and Djokovic didn't make much of an attempt to hit that ball properly. It took kind of a big swing and hit it into the bottom of the net. Love 15. That's some good aggressive tennis from Novak. Forehand cross-court drop shot. 15 all. That's exactly what you got to do. I continue to bring the pressure. Very aggressive tennis from Dino, and Novak not moving that great in that last rally. Dino with the inside-out forehand winner, 15-30. Big serve from Novak. 30 all. Novak is letting this set go. Yeah, but I don't think Novak wants Dino to serve first in the third, right? So, well, if he would lose this game, that would guarantee that Novak would serve first and third set. So what I'm saying is not correct, but generally, like, there's always incentives to try to get games in the second set because it can certainly carry over into the third, the positive momentum. But that right there is a bailout shot from Novak, forehand drop shot from behind the baseline all the way in the corner of the backhand side, 30-40, and not looking good. When is Rune back? I think he's going to play next week in Hamburg. Not next week, the following week. A big kicker from Novak, 40 all. Hey, Notville, nice to see you in here. Not hating on that play from Dino. He hit the second serve from Novak very aggressively, tried to come in off his backhand return, but overhits it slightly long. Add in. Hopefully Rune is ready. A torn Achilles is no joke. Yeah, but he came back so fast. You know, after 6 months, it's insane. I always thought that it would take longer than that. So hopefully he's going to be okay. hold from Novak. And I said he looks better to me, but look at him right here. He doesn't look that great again. Something going on with Novak. We don't know exactly what it is. He's walking very slowly to the bench. Somebody said in the chat that the doctor is coming to the court, but I don't see anyone coming. That's the doctor right there, I think, or the physio. Guys, I'll be right back, okay? Second serve, Prizmic. Let's see what Novak does. Is he going to fight in this one, or is he going to let it go? Big return from Novak. Prizmic can't control his ground stroke, love 15. Huge forehand from Prizmic there. Novak can't control his, and it's 15-all. Very interesting phase of the match. And the third set is going to be very interesting too. Because I don't think Novak comes back in this one. Because he's taking cuts at shots. Look, I'm not going to say he's tanking, but I don't think he's putting in the work to come back in this set, Novak. So how will he play early in the third? Let's see. And Prizmic with another drop shot, testing Novak. But Novak does what Prizmic did a few games earlier, that really nice cross-court angled forehand feel shot. That's a shot that a lot of people don't practice. I practice it with a lot of my players. You know, balls really close to the net. They can come in very handy in matches. They don't show up that often, but when they do, it's nice that you have this in your repertoire. It requires soft hands and a lot of feel. And especially when you're having to do that shot, having to come up with it on a full sprint, you know, that makes the feel even more difficult. Let's see, this is a tricky thing though, right? So we all think Novak is done. He's like bailing out these rallies, blasting. It's 30 all, and Novak is covering the court. Open stance, two-handed backhand, runs down a short ball. Like, he seems perfectly fine physically in this rally. That's why it's such a dangerous thing for Dino, the situation that he's in. And he didn't necessarily do anything wrong in this rally. He played well, but it was just, you know, Novak is too good. Break point, 30-40. Strong serve from Dino, saves break point. Djokovic misses the backhand return. Back to deuce. Huge forehand from Dino right there. That was big on deuce. And it's add in. And a tough hold from Dino right there, because Djokovic started playing better in this game. 5-1. Novak is dangerous still, even in this state that he's in. What did Bublik do to Baez? You know, it's so funny you bring that up. I saw that score and I was surprised, because Baez, tough player on clay, I think it was like 2-1. Bublik up and down this year. Some incredible matches and then some not so good ones. Hopefully he can put it together, because he certainly is entertaining to watch. Big serve from Novak. He's definitely feeling better, I think. Novak is definitely feeling better. That if we get into a third set, it's going to be very interesting. Forty love, big serve from Novak. Easy hold. I think Djokovic is back to normal. Wow, what a forehand from Dino right there. Down the line, blast from outside this singles line. He's a shot maker. 40-15. Phenomenal rally from Novak. And he holds 5-2 Prizmic, second set. Novak is talking to the umpire. Yeah, I don't know. He looks better to me, Novak. What do you guys think? For sure looks better than the beginning of the second set, and he's definitely playing different now. It looks more like his normal level. He had a chance to break in the previous game. He held here. No, the physio is out for Dino. Wait, what? Did Dino pull something? You're ahead of my stream by close to a minute. How is that possible? That's literally impossible. It's like, unless I have something wrong with my settings here. Hold on, let's see. No, it's impossible. Not a minute. A whole minute? No, it's like maybe a few seconds. You're ahead of the stream by 2 points. So I guess you guys are watching on your stream, or you're watching on TV? Because I'm behind, my stream is behind my TV. Like if I'm watching it just on regular TV versus stream, it's behind like maybe a point. So then you take the delay from YouTube. So 2 points makes sense, but not a whole minute though. Like that's crazy. Where's Simone? I don't know actually. I don't know where he is. Oh, he's right here. He's sleeping in this like round scratcher thing. Yeah, you're watching on TV. Okay, yeah. So you're definitely ahead by 2 points or maybe 3. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, I can watch it on TV, but it's still going to be a delay. It's just the way it is. Because at first I thought, the first match I did was Sinner. Well, I did one before, but never. I watched it on TV and I thought it was going to be in real time. But then somebody said, like, yeah, your stream is delayed. So that's like my stream is not 100% in real time, right? It's delayed by like a couple of seconds or whatever. So it really is impossible to time it exactly with how everybody's watching it, because some people are watching on TV, some are streaming, but okay. Dino with a very strong rally there, 15 all. Djokovic stretching his hamstrings maybe, or maybe gassed. I don't think it's gassed. I think he's stretching his hamstrings. John Doe, Djokovic is back to normal. Yes, I think so. I think Djokovic is back to normal. Dino has to be very careful here. And a backhand miss from Djokovic, 30-15. Would be fun to see you and Emma do a live commentary on the match. Yeah, actually, I thought about that, to do some live commentary with. I want to do one with Shamir, actually, with Shamir, and one with Emma for sure. Maybe even with Milan. (40-15). Dino is playing the right way in this set, though. He's on fire. Like, he's, you know, see, he's got the intensity. He's grunting. He's definitely playing the right way. And Djokovic is kneeling over again. Maybe he's not back to normal. I don't know. It's so hard to figure out. But in any case, big T serve from Prizmic. Wins the second set 6-2. Djokovic walking back to the bench, not looking 100% himself, and the physio is out there, but I think he's out there for Dino and not for Djokovic. Djokovic walking off the court, okay. So this is going to be very interesting now to see the very beginning of this third set. I think this is going to be very interesting to see. And Dino better be very, very careful not to drop his level even by 1% right here. He has to play his absolute best right in the beginning, like the first point, first game. Don't let Djokovic like hold easy, like make it a battle right away. It's a very dangerous phase of the match coming up in the beginning of the third. How's your injury, Nick? Laura, thank you for asking. It's so funny you bring that up. It's like I'm actually touching the spot right now. It's not even close to being completely healed. Unfortunately, I'm doing things that are making the injury like not better. Like I'm giving lessons, and I'm not running or anything like that. Yeah, I'm not in pain. Like I can do a lesson and, you know, control my movements. And I will go for a walk for exercise with my weight vest. But even there, like the last time I went on a weight vest walk, I started feeling my calf. So it's like, I know that if I play for real, I'm going to like destroy my calf right away. So it's not there yet. I have to wait probably another month. This is a really brutal injury. Like this is a nightmare. But I'm trying to been going to the gym. I'm trying to exercise as much as I can, but I want to play tennis so bad. I miss it so much. I love to play. I love to hit on the ball machine too. Like I love to go on the wall and hit. I like to play a set here and there, and I just can't. And so it's been very frustrating. And I don't want to get out there too early. So yeah, I want to make sure it heals properly. Don't want to put you in a weird spot, so ignore freely, but do you keep in touch with all the personalities we've seen on your channel, or have some gone off the horizon? I mean, I've had so many people on my channel, I don't keep in touch with every single person. There's been some students that have like moved, they don't live here anymore, you know, they've moved to another city, or in some instance another state. So like people, I don't really keep in touch with them that much, right? They've moved on. But most of the people that you know, like Alec, of course Shamir. I'm going to actually be planning to play Monday. Shamir is back from a really bad back injury. Milan, I'm meeting Milan Sunday. We're going to go for a drink. He's moved away to a different town, but he's going to be back. I keep in touch with everyone. I keep in touch with Anna. Haven't played with her in a long time. We are planning to play again, but she hasn't really played that much tennis because she's like doing so much dancing. It's crazy. Like she has no time. So yeah, no, it's there's nobody that like you know, there's like bad blood or anything like that. No, it's just like who I feature in my videos are people that are very close to me, and I think that comes across in the videos. To put somebody random in the video, it's okay. I mean, certainly I've done that too. Somebody that I didn't know and didn't turn out to be that great, I guess. But ideally, it's when it's somebody that I know, there's a different chemistry between like the coach and the player, and that's what I try to do. I bought a Wilson RF Future for fun recently, and I'm loving this racket. You know what? Like, a lot of people are hating on it because it's not like the RF 97, the one he used on tour, and they think it's like a amateur level racket or a marketing gimmick. But I'll be honest, I think it's a good racket. I think it's a good racket. In some ways, I prefer it to the RF 97, but that's just me. But you know what it is with a lot of the hardcore Federer fans, they want to actually use what he used when he played on tour. They don't want the thing that he's marketing now. So I don't think it's actually been I think it's a mistake by Wilson. If you want my honest opinion, it was a mistake. Even though it's a pretty good racket, the RF, it was a mistake from Wilson to get rid of the RF 97 Pro Staff. They should have just kept that thing. Maybe change the color, but keep that frame, that mold. Don't change the whole racket. I think it was a big mistake because, yeah, for the reasons that I explained. Any arm-friendly racket recommendations? Yeah, I mean, like, you got to find something that's comfortable for you. Not too light, not too heavy. I have a video out there with general racket recommendations based on your level. You just type that in. Video is like one of the most viewed racket videos on all of YouTube. It's got like 600K or something like that. It's my racket recommendations. Just type in intuitive tennis and you'll find it. It's a good video. Have you tried the unreleased Python, Nick? You know, it's funny you bring that up. Yeah, I have a student of mine that is waiting to buy this one. We've been talking about that racket for a while. Have not had the chance to hit with it yet, but I will soon. I'm going to test that one and I'll probably make a video. Okay, like I said before, there goes the first point of the third. Djokovic with an exceptional point. 15 love. Dino needs to make this game tough. Babolat for life. I like that. I'm Babolat for life too. Didn't think I was last year, but I'm Babolat for life. I'm not messing around with any other rackets anymore. Okay, bad bounce. Djokovic staring at the court off a slice from Dino. 15 all. Not hating on that return from Dino. Hit it hard. Overhit it a little bit, but for sure a good attempt. Not a bad miss necessarily. 30-15. How did you hurt your knee, Nick? Well, I hurt it for the first time in juniors when I was 16. I twisted it indoors in Germany. It was a 4-2 in a tiebreak. I remember the score, and I hit a backhand passing shot. And my knee got stuck, and I twisted my entire body around the knee. That's where I hurt it for the first time. A monster forehand from Djokovic, 40-15. And then it was, you know, I've been to so many doctors. It was functional for a very long time until 2015 or 16. And it is here where I messed my knee up very badly. And I haven't really been able to play tennis since that moment. You know, I've talked about this. Huge hold from Djokovic. That was the last time. It happened at the Men's Open Nationals in Fort Lauderdale. I think it was either 2015 or 16. And that's the last time I played tennis for real. Everything else that came after that, I'm always thinking about my knee. I'm saving my knee. I'm not running to certain shots. I'm moving like carefully around the court. So Yeah, I heard it there. Like I just blew it out completely, and that was the end. But in any case, that you see Djokovic coming out on absolute fire. So here's the tricky thing, you know, Dino has to hold. It's a must-hold game right here, or I think you know, Djokovic is going to run away with this match. That's how crazy it is because he's back. I thought he was feeling better towards the end of the second. Wait, not Vilg, aren't you Belgian? You must be excited with blocks. How's the Are people excited about blocks in Belgium? All right, let's see how Dino is going to respond to this. Must hold game right here. And an incredible point from Dino right there. Drop shot from Novak. Again, backhand down the line, and an incredible counter drop shot from Dino. Dino has great hands. 15-love. To win a backhand miss from Novak off a slice from Prizmic, 30-love. Okay, so you guys have been spoiled with Kim and Justine, so nowadays anything not competing for the top tier is not really making the news. Yeah, it sounds like what happened in Germany, or even in Sweden. You know, it's unfortunate, but I think there's a lot to be excited about blocks. I think it's kind of helping him that he's somewhat under the radar. Even making the semis there in Madrid, he's still somehow under the radar, you know? It's just, I think the attention is like to Fonseca and Hodar. And I think that's good for blocks. You got a tough match here with Greek Spore. If he can come out of that one, that'd be a huge win for him. Lost the first at 7-6, but up 5-3 in the second, serving for the set. But down love 30 though. Dino with the drop shot lob combo. Doesn't work this time. 40-15, but he's really utilizing the drop shot well against Djokovic. You know, testing his physical level there. That's a tough shot to pull off. The volley lob. Doesn't hit it high enough. Easy backhand overhead from Djokovic. Oh no. A defensive shot from Dino goes in, hits the line, and Djokovic frames a forehand. Okay, Djokovic complaining about Dino hitting the line twice in every game. The coach telling him to be positive. But I can tell you, just his mannerisms, he's back. He's back at a normal level, Novak. What is Novak saying to his box? He was saying that Dino is hitting the line twice in every game. And Novak overcooks a forehand, but a blast from Dino cross court. Love 15. Hey, Super Dave. Nice to see you in here. Big serve from Novak and an easy put away close to the net, 15 all. Big kicker from Djokovic, 40-15. A nice hold from Novak right there. Yeah, he's back to normal. Not seeing the same issues, even the way he's walking, his facial expressions. I think he overcame whatever was bothering him in the second set. Now, here's the thing with the people that don't like Novak, is they always make it out to be that Novak is simulating these illnesses and injuries. But just think of how much sense that would make in this context of this match. If indeed Novak was faking this, whatever was going on, like, why would he do that after, winning the first set so easily? Like, why would he do that in the beginning of the second set when he won the first set? Like, what would be the point? So it makes no sense that he would be doing this on purpose, let's say. And I don't believe that that is true. I'll be honest. I think Novak just has the ability to recover in matches. He hangs in there, and he recovers physically. He's able to do that. It's not impossible to be able to do that. So to me, he looks like he's back to normal, and it's going to be very difficult for Prizmic. This certainly adds a whole nother difficulty to deal with Novak when he has these physical problems as the opponent. Because what could happen easily here is a break for Novak and him breezing through the rest of his match. Maybe as a way to distract his opponent. No, why would he distract his opponent when the opponent is already distracted, having lost the first set 6-2? So yeah, in any case, this is tough for the opponent, and Dino needs to find his absolute top level right here and hold this game. and keep this third set tight. Ace, 15 love. Another huge serve from Dino. 30 love. That's exactly what Dino needs right here, some big serving. It's a must hold. ATX Super Dave, curious if Prizmic washed the A or quarterfinal Djokovic versus Alcaraz. Alcaraz didn't keep the intensity up and Novak recovered from his ailments. Great example right there. That match was, that stuck in my mind, that quarterfinal match. And that was in the year after Prizmic had played Novak, I think, right? So that was in 25, I think. Yeah, he beat him in 25. And he played Prizmic in the first round of 24. And yeah, that was a great example, like when Novak was struggling physically and I was able to take out Alcaraz. And Alcaraz did not perform well in that match from a mental standpoint. Oof. Djokovic almost makes that down the line backhand love hold from Dino. That's a great way to hold serve right there. Exactly what Dino needed. Djokovic changes the racket. We're at an hour and 43. Don't think, it's going to sound weird, but don't think this is going to be a physical thing for Novak. I think he's physically doing okay, like as far as exhaustion is concerned. But if he can push this into like deep into the third, who knows? So you got to make matches with Novak physical if you're the opponent. You gotta make him work. It's so funny that down the line backhand drop shot from Djokovic was working so well in the first set, and I was complimenting it. But ever since then, he's starting to hit them more wild. Like the technique is not as crisp anymore. He's hitting it like Roger Federer style. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's certainly more difficult to pull off. And the drop shots have lost its efficacy. They're not as short anymore, and Prizmic is getting to them and putting balls away. Love 15. And a monster down the line open stance, two-handed backhand from Dino. Love 30, the humongous opportunity right here. There's a big point right here, biggest point in the match so far. Rock solid play from Novak. T serve and a two-handed backhand down the line put away. 15:30. Have you ever seen any of Tyra Grant? She's struggling a bit in the second, but the firepower is unbelievable. Future #1 on the women's side if she sharpens their technique. I've seen Tyra play before, yeah, many times. Incredible potential, right? But just like with anybody else, it's impossible to make predictions. But she's starting to win some matches on the main tour now, which is nice to see. There's another drop shot. Another backhand down the line drop shot from Djokovic. 15:42 break points. That shot has reduced in quality a lot in second set and third set. But speaking of Tyra Grant, she was supposed to play Mboko, which was going to be a great match, but Mboko pulled out because of illness, and now she plays Bartunkova. I think the match is going on right now. But I was looking forward to see Mboko in this tournament. She's had a rough clay court season so far. And Djokovic mangles a backhand volley inside out. Break Prizmic. Subdued celebration from the Prizmic box. They know it's this far from over. You know, you got to just keep it 1 point at a time against Novak. You can't start thinking about the victory right here. That would be a horrendous mistake. And this last rally is great defense, great fighting abilities from Dino. I think that's a strength of his, of course, a big fighter. He makes a lot of shots, puts the ball back in play a lot, and it certainly helped him get the break here. Hit not that great of a pass. Djokovic had I wouldn't say an easy volley, but a volley that he normally makes, and he made a mess out of it, missed it, and there's the break. But again, he's playing the best rebreaker in the history of tennis. So the first point of the next game is actually going to be incredibly important, like just that very first point. And you just has to build that service game point by point, get a hold there, and just go from there. But it's against Novak, this doesn't mean that much, to be honest with you. It's a break in a third at 3-2, but it's Novak Djokovic. You got to be careful. Let's just see who's playing right now. Pliskova is playing against Christian, up 2-1 a break. And let's see. We got blocks up a break in the third. Ziegemund up a break in the third on Alexandrova. Batiste lost the first set against Simona Valtat, but she's up a break in the second. And Tyra Grant won the first set against Bartunkova, but is down 5-2 in the second. So a lot of good matches going on at the same time. And that's what I mean, right there. Djokovic with a brutal rally, making tough shots, hit the ball very deep, and Dino hits a forehand to the net, love 15. Nick, what do you think the men's game will look like in 50 years' time? I don't know. I really don't know. That's such a long time. I have no idea, but it's a kind of a scary thought, you know? What about 100 years from now, right? Like, what will it look like? I don't know. I mean, it's going to evolve, but it doesn't evolve quite as fast as people think it does. It evolves slowly, in my opinion. It's like in 10-year spans. So 2036, I'm sure it's going to look different than what it looks like right now. But not by that much. But 50 years, that's something completely different. That's brutal. Because if we look back 50 years, you know, I don't know. That's a scary question. I don't like that one. I don't want to look that far ahead. 30-15, Dino. This is so crucial right here. Nick, did you see Katie McNally beat Mboko in Madrid? Yes, actually I'm going to talk about Katie McNally in my video later today, where I discuss Iga. I did watch that one. It's very impressive what Katie's been able to do. I gotta say, the drop shot from Dino has been a great weapon, and he started doing a lot of them in the second set and in the third set, and it's paid off. It's paid off. Not only because like he was still testing maybe Djokovic physically in that second set, but it's a great weapon, and he has great hands, Dino. Novak not running for drop shots. Well, that's very true. He didn't run for that one, and he didn't run for some other ones. That's a good observation, yes. Big return from Novak. Again, like a laser beam, very deep. 40-30. The crowd cheering for Nole and Nole. Monster serve from Dino right there, and Djokovic is smiling. He can bring the heat on the serve, Dino. It's incredible. 4-2. That was a huge hold. But again, like, I think this next game, you know, is an opportunity for Dino to get the insurance break, and I would put a lot of intensity, a lot of energy into making Novak work for this one. Don't allow him to hold easy right here. Second serve. Love 15, backhand miss from Novak. Super Dave, the best way to practice return, well, you can do it with another person, of course, and just kind of isolate the return and just play up to 11 games to one side and then to the other side, and then, you know, maybe switch in between so both of you guys can work on return, or with a coach or with the other partner that you have, just have that person stand closer and just serve and hit like a set of 50 to 100 returns. Make sure you're practicing hitting returns off slice, flat, kick, and do it as often as possible. I remember with my dad back in the day, we served and returned on every single practice in isolation. 15 all. It's shot that's often ignored in practice, to be honest. People don't really work on it like consciously. They just, of course, they're returning when they play points, but you got to put attention to it. That's a wild return error from Dino right there. He attempted to go very hard down the middle. He overcooked it, 30-15. Nole looking beaten. I don't think so. I don't think so. Second serve. That's a big forehand from Novak. He really blasted that thing cross court so hard. 40-15. Is there anything you can do with a ball machine to help you return? Maybe a deep shots? Yeah, if you go to my channel and type in practice return with the ball machine intuitive tennis, you'll see me working on the return with the Proton machine that has a stand. You can purchase a separate stand called the Apex Surf Stand. And the ball machine can surf to you actually. You can practice the return. It's really cool. Incredible shot making from Dino Prizmic. Djokovic is laughing sarcastically. He cannot believe it. That's a high level of tennis right there from Dino in that rally. Like, that's what I mean. It's like, to me, it's like Alcaraz. I'm not going to say this like Alcaraz, but it reminds me a little bit of Carlitos. Like, he's just a shot maker, Dino. He can really unload on those shots. And they're heavy, they're consistent. He can bring that power from any position in the court. A great athlete. And a tough hold from Novak. He screams. The crowd is going crazy. Definitely on Novak's side. And it's 4-3. Another very dangerous situation for Dino. He's going to have to play his best tennis here to be able to hold, because Novak is back in this third set physically, and he wants this match. He wants this match very badly. Look, Novak does not want to go out in the first round here, okay? Not this first match here, because then he probably has to play Geneva again. Like, he doesn't want to play one match going into Roland Garros. So he wants to play well here. With one of the juniors, I hit, we take turns serving returning for half. A 50-ball basket, then switch. Serving closer up is a good idea to simulate faster serves. Yeah, serving closer up, it's good to simulate, like, yeah, speed, but it's more about the reaction time, right? So when somebody's serving from like the service line, the returner has less time to react, and you can work on the so important reflexes that you need on the return of serve. So that's very important. Also, when you're closer up, you can make the serve bounce higher, so your kick serve return practice is going to be more effective. So I'm a big fan of standing closer, but just like anything else, you don't want to get used to that type of ball coming to you, so you don't want to return the regular serve, because sometimes when you get used to the faster like frequency, and then somebody hits the serve from further back, now you have too much time and it messes you up. So you want to always mix it up as much as you can and give yourself different looks. What a rally from Dino right there. Playing very aggressive, moving Novak. And he comes in and has the easy overhead put away, 15 love. He's pumped up right now. Maybe a little too pumped up. Not a big fan of these type of celebrations, the first point of the game, because they do take energy out of you. That's incredible tennis from Dino right there. Incredible. Good return from Novak, but just such a great forehand inside and too much pace for Djokovic to handle 30 love. How tall is Dino? Oh, here we go. Young players' height is always like gets disputed when I talk about it. Okay. Slice from Novak. Dino misses a forehand to the net and stares at the court. I'm not sure what he's referring to there. Maybe he slipped or something like that. 30-15. Incredibly important point from Dino right there, but error from Djokovic. I'm sure he's kicking himself for missing that forehand. A very important point. And again, Dino can like bring the heat, but he's also a grinder, a fighter. He can save balls. They look about the same height, 6'1". The last time I looked it up was 6'1", but that could be wrong. I don't know. But you sometimes like for example, with Sinner, it was wrong initially, the height that the ATP put, and they later changed it because initially it was like 6'2" for Sinner or 6'1". It says 6'2" here, but I don't know. 6'2". 188 centimeters, 188. But again, I don't know how accurate that is. In any case, it's like he's got a perfect height for tennis. This guy is, he's got the goods for sure. One shot that's so important for like making it to the very top of the ATP Tour is the open stance backhand, and having the ability to hit aggressive from the corners with your two-handed backhand from the outside leg. Djokovic is the master of that shot, of course. We all know Alcaraz and Sinner hit that shot so well, but I have to say, like Dino in this rally, he hits that open stance backhand really well and can make power of that shot. And that's a great sign to me, personally. For example, like with Fonseca, as I've said many times, he's not that great at that shot yet. I think he can improve. So physically, Dino is tops. He's got the goods. A lot of people say, oh, you have to be taller. No, I don't think so. I think this height, like this is like the Alcaraz height. Maybe Dino's a tad taller. This is like the perfect height for tennis. And he's one game away from beating Djokovic, which is incredible. But what's better, like breaking to win the match or serving for it? He's in some kind of argument with his box. Right there. I'm not sure what that's all about. Commentators keep on saying Novak isn't accustomed to the inches from the line. What do you mean, but accustomed to the inches from the line? What are you referring to, True Tennis Vibe? And Dino goes for the return, misses it. It's a little too much interaction with the box right here. Staring there and some kind of back and forth with him. Makes no sense right now in this context for Dino to do that. 30 love. We need nothing but positive body language right here. And no need to look to the box. You know what to do at this stage. You guys just gotta try to do your best, make this service game tough. Don't let him hold easy. Djokovic misses a backhand. An easy one, I would say, even though it was on the run. It was off a slice. 30-15. Blocks and Prizmic matches are almost the same score. So it's against Greek Sport 5-3 in the third, I guess. That would be a big win for Blocks. To back up his performance in Madrid with another good win here would be very impressive. Or is he down 5-3? 40-15. Again, very negative body language from Dino. I hope that doesn't come back to hurt him in this one. Oh, Blocks is up 5-3 in the third. Okay, cool. That'd be a big win for him. And Djokovic holds. And Djokovic will give it 1,000% in the next game. He will make it very difficult for Dino to hold, who will have to access his best tennis. And Djokovic is asking for them to sweep the court, which is interesting. So Dino needs to keep stay focused right here, 1 point at a time, and most importantly, think positive. Djokovic screaming at the box. I don't know what he said. It sounded like aqua, but I don't know. Sometimes Djokovic, I'm not, of course, it's not cool to do that. I get it. But sometimes he gets this out of him and he does better right away. And sometimes it helps him to get all this out. He gets it out and then he's refocused right away on the next point. Where some other players, they scream and they start playing worse. I don't think that's true for Djokovic. So I think he's going to try to do what he can here. And this match is far from over right here. This is a huge game. The crowd will be on his side. The crowd wants to see this match continue, which makes it even more difficult for Dino. What he needs right here are first serves. Crowd is screaming Nole Nole. Second serve. Here's the thing in this circumstance. Djokovic will not give you the match. He will not give you the match. You're going to have to win the match. And what I mean by that is, like, you can't just keep the ball in play and expect Djokovic to deliver errors for you. You have to take it from him. So Djokovic is going to lock in here. He's not going to miss anything. No unforced errors. Love 15. And that was a way better rally from Dino. A humongous first serve, and Djokovic overcooks a forehand, but the play was more aggressive from Dino. He was more inside, and he was hitting that forehand hard, and that forced the error out of Nole. 15-all. What a serve. Two incredible serves in a row. Again, wide, 15-all. Might have hit the line. Djokovic can't get a hold of the return, frames it into the net. 30-15, 2 points away. Let's see if we can pull off another serve like that. And Djokovic goes for the down the line backhand, misses it. He's staring at the court. Most likely a bad bounce, but a very steady rally from Dino. And it's 40-15, 2 match points. Incredible tennis from Dino to keep it together in this circumstance and continue to bring the heat. Let's see if we can get a first serve in right here. That would help tremendously. And there it is. Ace out wide to take the match from Novak Djokovic, 6-4 in the third. Wow. Incredible. Dino's biggest win so far. Played some great tennis. The key shots for Dino were for sure the drop shot. He served incredibly well. And what I loved the most about this match was that he kept the intensity up when Djokovic started to have physical problems. And as brutal as this sounds, you know, he could have let Djokovic like hang around in that set maybe, and there was maybe it was one break only, and that second set could have turned into a nightmare. But he kept the pressure on Novak, played with high intensity, kept pumping himself up. He was hitting way more drop shots, and towards the end of the second, Novak seemed to feel better, and in the third, Novak to me seemed normal. I don't think it was whatever was bothering him in the second set. He seemed normal, and it turned into a battle. And Dino prevailed with playing some exceptional tennis. Like I said in the beginning, Djokovic said it's a carbon copy of himself, but Dino reminds me of Alcaraz a little bit. He's a shot maker. He has exceptional feel, and you can see the feel when he does a drop shot, of course, but even when he runs down a drop shot and hits a counter drop shot. He's got good hands. He's an exceptional athlete. And just a similar frame to Alcaraz, very fast, can bring the heat on the serve, and like I said, the shot maker, can hit a winner from anywhere. A fantastic player, but you know, we don't know what this means yet. I'm always very careful with like you know, predictions for young players. This is really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean much, you know. If you want to be absolutely brutal, you should be beating a 39-year-old, right? Like as a youngster, right? If you want to be brutal about that, I know this is like it's not a nice thing to say about Novak, but this eventually will start happening more and more. Novak will not start playing like this forever, but still, the aura from Novak is still there, and a lot of players will go on the court like losing the match even prior to stepping on it. And the respect is there, but you still got to come out there and beat Novak and beat him when he's also not feeling well, which is also kind of tough from a respect standpoint. So it's not easy to beat Novak for many different reasons. And of course, Novak still plays at an incredible level of tennis. Don't personally think that this was anywhere near Novak's best. Like the first set was clean, but then the physical problems came, and even in the third set, I think Novak played way better in Indian Wells against Draper, for example. This reminded me maybe a little bit more of some of those earlier matches that Novak had in Indian Wells. And of course, it's far away from the form that Novak showed in Australia. So we know Novak brings his best for the Grand Slams at this age. You know, that's his main focus, his main goal. So long story short, I wouldn't make too much out of this win for Dino. Okay, as you guys might be like mad that I'm saying this if you're a Prizmic fan, but I wouldn't blow this up as like this thing that's like, okay, Dino is not going to be the next big thing. No, it's a great win, phenomenal win, best win of his career. But let's take a look at the draw and see who is going to be playing next. Even without knowing yet who's he going to be playing next, that's probably going to be even more impressive for me personally, if he's able to beat whatever's coming next at him. Well, let's see what that is. That will be, if I can get the right round, the round of 32. Hold on, round of 64 here. Where is it? Okay, it's the winner of Humbert and Kopriva, and then, you know, it's got Khachanov there, Van de Zandschulp. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for Dino to go deep in this one. So now come the real tests. Okay, he had the big win of his career. There can't be a letdown. There has to be now, like, you know, just mentally treat this as like it's an okay win, and then just like match by match go deep in this one, because it's a real opportunity to do something here, to build the ranking, because the ranking, if you can go deep in the ATP 1000s, you get a tremendous amount of points, right? So it's a huge opportunity to make it into the fourth round or more, maybe even into the quarters, because he's a good enough player to beat any of these guys. But it's going to be tough, because any of these guys are going to be tough to put away. But nevertheless, fantastic match by Dino, fantastic win. And I will be live streaming the center match tomorrow. So if you guys have a chance, tune in. Let me take a look at the chat, see what's going on in here. Oh yeah, that's interesting. I was going to talk about that. We'll be interested to see if Novak plays another tournament before RG. Well, this is a nightmare for Novak right now, because I'm sure he doesn't want to play a tournament before Roland Garros. But he might have to now. So last year he didn't play Rome, but he played Madrid. He lost to Arnaldi, and then he played Geneva, and he won Geneva. So what does he do now? Is this enough for him? Or does he need Geneva, or maybe even Hamburg, to get a wild card there? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what he's going to do, but it's certainly not optimal for Roland Garros. But again, you know, if you're a Novak fan, not necessarily a cause for concern, because we've seen this type of stuff in every single clay court season since 2024. So the clay has been the worst surface for me personally, other than Roland Garros, where he's made it into the semis. But it's been his worst surface from 24 to now. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see what else you guys are saying, and then we're going to log off of here, guys. And Zverev needs to be appreciated for going deep in literally every single tournament, only to lose to an absolute phenom like Sinner. Zverev is showing Murray-like consistency at this point. Yeah, Sanjay, I've been saying this for a while, and I've repeated it in many videos. People are very, very harsh on Zverev, and if you take a look at my analysis, I think the thumbnail is brutal level discrepancy. It's just the matchup with Sinner is absolutely brutal. I don't think the matchup with Alcaraz is as brutal for Zverev, but he's a phenomenal player and needs to be respected. If you don't like any of these guys for other reasons, that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to like everyone, but you should always respect the tennis, because the tennis, you can't disrespect that. If you're going to disrespect Zverev's tennis, that's ridiculous. You can't say that this guy is somehow what people say. He has no forehand. I heard somebody say today he's a defensive player. Are you kidding me? To simplify Zverev's tennis, to say that he's a defensive player, like a pusher or something, it's ridiculous. So this happens with Zverev a lot. It's not cool, because the guy is an absolute beast. Might not be like the most stylistic player to watch or whatever, but he's won this tournament twice. He beat Djokovic in the final one time, I remember. And then he beat, I think it was Jarry in the final one year. He won Rome twice. He won Madrid twice, I think. Did he? Yeah. Final of Madrid 4 times. Just that alone is like insane. But then you put everything else together, all the consecutive semifinals that he's made. Like, the tour is tough, and he's going through all these other guys, and he's incredibly consistent. So yeah, that deserves nothing but respect. But unfortunately, like, a lot of people just value the number of slams. And it's like, in tennis, it's not all about slams. I think there's too much, even though the slams are the most fun tournaments to watch, they are the most important tournaments, tennis can't be all about the slams. And the fact that he hasn't won one, it's not like doesn't mean that, he was very unfortunate with the team match. Okay, I agree with that. He should have won that one. But then Dominic is an amazing player too. He deserved that match. He turned it around. It wasn't like he played, he sort of played some schlub in the final. It was Dominic's team, like a legendary player. And then the Alcaraz final was like so tight. I feel like he was a set away from winning that. And the one that hurt Zverev the most was the Australian Open final, where he lost in straight sets. And I think he puts too much pressure on himself. I've heard, I don't know if it's true, that he doesn't want to cut his hair, because he's going to cut it when he wins a slam. I think that's putting way too much pressure on himself. Because again, like, if he retired tomorrow, he's in my opinion, like, Hall of Fame career. Because I know the Hall of Fame like requires you to win 1 slam at least, or something like that, or 2 slams. But think of all the Masters Series tournaments that he was able to win in the Big 3 era. And and the fact that he's like struggled against Sinner, which makes sense why he would struggle with Sinner. And he's not the only one that struggles with Sinner. Everybody else is struggling with him. There was so much like bad stuff written about Zverev after that Madrid final. And whether you're a Zverev fan or not, you can't say that he is not a hard worker, and that people are saying, oh, he lost that match before he stepped on the court. You don't know any of that. Like, that's certainly true for some players. Is it true necessarily for Zverev? I don't know. He's beaten Yannick 4 times in a row after losing to him for the first time, and then he lost 9 in a row. It's just tough. The matchup is brutal, and it's just like there's not much that he can do when Yannick plays like that. In fact, there's not much that anybody can do. On top of that, Zverev said that he had a poor match. He had a poor match. You want to look outside, Simone? He had a poor match. And that finally he would have lost to other guys as well. So, you know, it's like, it's a little bit unfair towards Zverev. And I think people don't like him, like for other reasons. And then they like will disrespect his tennis. And because I keep it strictly tennis, I don't like that, because as a tennis player, you can't but just have absolute respect for Alexander Zverev. And I'm sure now that Djokovic is out, he's a big favorite to make another final. How about that? Another Sinner Zverev final. Are you guys excited? Are you excited for another Zverev Sinner final? I certainly am. I think it's interesting. Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh, okay, Simone came up here. You guys are excited about that. Yeah, Simone hasn't really been on camera that much as of late. It's been more Lucy. Sinner Maniac is here. I saw Sinner's Koboli practice. They had some incredible points. Look, Sinner... one more thing I want to say about Sinner. Like, I think naturally there are going to be some ups and downs with him as well. Don't know if necessarily they're going to happen right now. They might not. He might blaze through all the way through Wimbledon. We'll see if Alcaraz comes back. But I think eventually, like, there has to be some up and down with Sinner as well. Or maybe he'll blaze through the whole year, but maybe then next year there'll be a down. I feel like there's naturally going to be some ups and downs with him, you know? Because people are saying, oh, he's going to break all the records. He might. He might not. We don't know. We just have to, you know, concentrate on one tournament at a time, I think. Joel, you just arrived. You're late. How did this happen? Did Djokovic gas, or was he just playing all that well? Well, I'm going to do an analysis of what happened in 3 matches today. I watched Iga Swiatek with McNally. I watched Hodar. And I watched this, obviously, with you guys. And I'm going to analyze later, so tune in later on to Intuitive Tennis. I'm going to upload a video. And I will see you guys then, okay? I'm gonna check out right now. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Sinner against... Who is he playing? I forgot. Who's Sinner playing? He's playing against Ofna. That's right. Sebastian Ofna, which is at 1 o'clock, which is perfect time to live stream. 1 o'clock is absolutely perfect. So I will see you guys then, okay? You take it easy. And Simone, you came too late to the camera, bud. Tomorrow you got to come earlier. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. You take care.